YouTube will be not up to sprint speed. And my music just disappeared. That's fine. One last thing I have to do before I go any further. I know I did that. I can just do this. Oh boy. That's good. Alright. Well.
Uh-huh.
Aha.
I saw Dan Kaus, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Dan Leal, Dankovsky, whatever his name is. Yeah, him. The prickliest prick, whatever his name
Yes. The prickly prick that
Yes.
will doom us all. Okay, well,
is.
there we go. Rotate your mouse clockwise to advance the text. What?
That's stupid.
How do I... Oh.
What?
Whoa, what the fuck is happening? Okay, first event. Okay, I guess I should mention I don't know what this game is about.
Okay.
Point and click.
Okay, why can't I just, like, click through the text when necessary? Why do I have to rotate my mouse clockwise?
Monday, 18th, 1914, London, England. Union Jack over there.
Yep, that's how we know.
Yep.
Frickin'
From the city on that May afternoon, pretty well disgusted with my life. I had been 3 months in the old country and was fed up with it. Okay.
pressure.
Alright. We're inside the house, I guess. Or no, we're in like a car.
Richard Hannay,
We're in
you
a
have got
chair.
into the wrong ditch, my friend, and you had better climb out.
Got into the wrong dish, my friend. You'd better climb out. That text went fast.
Mm-mm. It was voice acted.
Oh, okay. I have the sound off.
Gotcha.
I'll turn that up a little bit.
Let's see. The present, the child, the care of the teenager, the soldier, or the working man. Who am I? Oh, do I just pick one?
Yes.
The working man. Okay. I had earned my pile, not one of the big ones, but good enough for me. I had put in 3 years prospecting for copper in German Damaraland and spoke the German tongue pretty fluently. I went on to become a mining engineer in Kimberley, where I was instrumental to the formation of De Beers Consolidated Mines. The
Yeah,
diamond
Beers.
mines-
Duff beers.
De Beers.
Sorry.
The diamond mines were a rough business with countless good men lost in horrific accidents. Okay. The teenager. I spent much of my time in the Zambesi, where I would fish. There are several hundred species in its waters, including the infamous tigerfish and Zambesi shark. The wide open spaces of the Veld also interested me greatly, and the various methods of survival in such an uncompromising landscape. The child? Oh. My father had brought me from Scotland to South Africa at the age of 6, and I had never been home since. I grew up in the Cape Colony, which was then under British rule. Okay, so it's technically going this way. Gotcha. I served the British forces during the Matabele conflict and was decorated for my role. I served 2 years with the Imperial Light Horse and was an intelligence officer at Delgoa Bay in the Second Boer War. I lost many friends during those wars. Colonialism. The carer. My final years in Africa were in the municipality of Bulawayo. I'd probably picture that, where I had fought during the Matabele War. I resided once again with my father, who had taken ill. After he died, I decided to leave the Cape and head back to the old country. Gotcha. That's, I'm American. I don't know anything about any of this.
I'm guessing the Cape refers to like
Oh,
South Africa
it's
or
definitely South Africa.
Africa. Okay.
But like
I don't
all
know.
these,
When he says old country,
I'm assuming
I
it
s-
means
Germany, or
old
Russia?
Great Britain.
Okay. That's
It's weird because like
it's
maybe-
definitely weird.
me being dumb American means I don't know anything about any of these wars that
Yeah.
he's talking about. I'm like, what are those?
Yeah.
Awarded the past unearthed. A lot of imperialist ladies asked me to tea to meet schoolmates from New Zealand and editors from Vancouver, and that was the most dismal business of all. I had no real pal to go about with, which probably explains things. Plenty of people invited me to their houses, but they didn't seem much interested in me. I had counted on stopping in London for the rest of my days, but from the first, I was disappointed with it. I was the best bored man in England. Okay. I guess we're done with all that. Here he was, 37 years old, sound in the wind and limb, with enough money to have a good time, yawning my head off all day. Collected Richard Hannay. I had a long drink and read the evening papers. They were full of the row in the Near East, and there was an article about the Karolites, the Greek premier. And from all accounts, he seemed the one big man in the show, and he played a straight game too, which is more than could be said for most of them. European history that I don't know shit about.
I know it's a point and click. There's so many words here. I feel like I might as well just read a book.
I mean, that's standard fare for point and clicks.
Okay.
Someone had loaded the cylinder player. I felt a deep nostalgia for my homeland of Scotland as Ani Laurie filled the room. Okay, so
Okay, so he's Scottish. Got it.
we're in the colonial club. Oh boy.
So that's what the old country is. Scotland? What is I'm assuming Scotland is the old country.
British informer.
Ginger nuts.
Ginger nuts.
I'm just yelling it.
There are no friends like old friends. I'm not read all of this. Multiple regions
Don't.
testamental of Europe's great powers. Oh yeah, the Eastern European area, I'm assuming, was always under a lot of problems. Because what, like, the Czech Republic's only been around for like, what, maybe 70 years-ish? Since like
Yeah,
War
not a
II.
long time.
Oh,
Serbia is not a country anymore, yes?
no, I don't believe so.
Okay. I know they were involved in World War One. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And they probably were in World War II as well. Like, that whole area has
Well,
been in unrest
yeah.
until relatively
Well, yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Yesterday
I'm
this-
just I'm just asking to make sure I'm not mixing up Serbia and Syria.
Yeah, Syria is
Yeah.
in the Middle East. Serbia was, I
Oh, yeah.
believe, much closer to Greece.
That makes
But-
more sense.
Again, dumb American who didn't learn much about European history.
I don't know geography, but like if two words sound the same, I will automatically assume they are near each other.
So it looks like the Tsar declared his unyielding support for Serbia, which I assume is, is it Alexander the Second? Not Alexander the Second. I just watched like a video on the Russian Revolution recently, and I think this is probably referring to his, either him or his, I'm assuming his father's rule, maybe? I don't know.
Your guess is better than mine. I have no fucking idea.
And an Albanian uprising revolt. This is in the Ottoman Empire. 'Cause the
already
Ottomans
not
were still
involved in
affected.
this just because there's so much history here. And I
Yeah.
know, dumb American, but like,
Oh man.
it's the one car I need. It's a better car. It's a Ford. It costs less to buy and less to maintain. I'll buy it. That's how I function.
The Ottoman Empire was still existent until like I think after World War One. So I think because the Macedonia is in Greece.
I know Macedonia is Greece, yes. I cannot tell you shit about Turkey, other than it sounds like the bird.
Harris Tweed on top of the world. Oh no,
I don't know what that
that thing just stole a child.
Good.
The British
I
Navy
don't
must
know.
grow. I feel like Britain has always had like one of the best navies in the entire world, just because island nation. But
Space looks fucked up.
he does.
But yeah. Yeah, I think they have. Like,
I feel like that's like the thing that they
Yeah.
have. Yeah. Okay, share text. Oh, can I? Oh, that's the Zoom that I was doing. That's fine. All right. Well, we're done with that. What's over? Oh, look, more papers. What is
oh
this?
my god.
A hotel.
Text adventure the game.
Furs. Oh boy, Machinka. Let's
What?
see. I don't know. Ready to wear ascot gowns. Hotel Rubens. There's a bunch of ads. Cecil Restaurant. I think I've heard of that before. Florence Restaurant. Maximum. Dine tonight at Pinoli's.
I'm tired from work. I just ate a bunch of Chinese food. Seeing all this kind of makes me want to like set myself on fire in like the most dramatic fashion. There's so much going on here. I cannot handle this.
Oh, I'm just cruising it real fast. Fashions for men.
No, I know.
Big
I'm sorry to
flying
complain.
races. Oh, you're
Flying racists.
No, big flying races.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
Play and homespun. Look at all these ads. They're so great. Okay, what else we got?
How could you like, there's people who like get home from work and like sit down, read the paper back then.
Yeah.
How can you do that? How can you read that? It's so busy. I know things are different now, but like, come on.
Okay, so this is showing us what was underneath British rule at this point in time.
Okay.
Which I knew about Australia and India. And the South.
I see
and
they mapped out the flat Earth ice wall in between Africa and South America.
Uh-oh.
No, it's the folding. That's all I meant. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Oh, that's recording.
I know.
They held, well, that would be, they didn't hold Nepal. They held Burma, though.
Oh, is this British rule?
Yeah. So, Australia,
Okay.
part of Papua New Guinea,
Yeah.
New Zealand I knew about. I did not realize that they had British East Africa and Egypt. Well, of course they had Egypt.
Well,
all the Egyptologists
Yeah,
that were
that's
there.
how they
No
stole
shit.
all the.
All the
That's how they
Egyptian
stole all the
artifacts.
mummies.
Yeah. Oh, they had
Yeah,
Cyprus?
yeah.
Interesting. Oh, and then that's, I think that today's EAU?
I want to be shocked, but I'm not.
Oh, Saudi Arabia is now just.
I
that's
couldn't quite get into Persia, could you, Britain?
No, Asia. Oh, there's Turkey. I thought Turkey was here.
You know what? Hot take. I'm glad the Queen died. No,
Um,
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna get you banned on YouTube. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's it's like
It's really not. I shouldn't say that.
it's. Let me put it this way. I don't know. I don't know enough.
You don't
about
have
her
to.
history.
You don't have to say a thing.
But yeah, Austria-Hungary. This is
Yeah.
where like all the Serbian stuff was happening in this general
Yeah.
area. I think. Let's see. We had northern Nigeria.
Well, hold on. Go back up. We could find it on the map
Oh yeah.
this- because it should be here.
That's as close as I can get.
I think that's Serbia.
Yeah, Serbia's like
Okay.
right there. There's like
Okay.
several.
Where was
there's, like,
the other thing?
Oh, Turkey is
country
supposed to be
you're talking
here, but it's over
No.
here.
Oh.
It must have talked
It's
shit.
it.
Yeah, this is. I'm pretty sure this is where Turkey is, because this is Greece right here
I'm-
today.
Maybe they fucked up their map. Maybe it's alternate history.
I don't think it's
Or they
alternate
fucked up
history.
their map. Hold on. What year is it? I'm Googling this.
1914.
1914. Europe map.
Oh, they had okay.
Just
All of
popped
that
right
was
up.
Spanish.
Okay.
Oh, they had Belize. Ah, and of
Yep,
course
they
Canada.
fucked up the map.
Did they?
I think so. That is, well, I don't know if they, like, it could be like an alternate history based off whatever happens
Could be.
game, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
where Turkey is where Greece is supposed to be,
Yeah.
and Albania.
Well, because the Ottoman Empire was like all around here, like
Yeah.
for a long time. They
I'm
had
agreeing. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
they had
I
a
agree.
lot. And I thought the Ottoman
Yeah.
Empire was almost dead at that point, but I'm pretty sure that it
Okay.
was still an entity in like the early 1900s up until about World War One, where it just broke down. But maybe I'm mistaking that for the whole Napoleonic Wars, because I know it existed when Napoleon was around.
Yeah.
Because the Ottoman Empire lasted a fucking long time before it kind of imploded on itself.
I'd be curious to learn about it.
Yeah. And then Russia doing its Russia things. Because all of this
Think-
is like Russia too, but I'm pretty sure this all, like Poland's like supposed to be like right here somewhere, I think. Oh boy. Anyway, that was a fascinating time.
Yeah. The map I did find, I think it is 1915, maybe? Or something. I don't know. But I really doubt if this is supposed to be accurate map for back then and not alternate history. I really doubt that Turkey and Greece traded places back and forth
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I'm dropping it though.
The generic sound for page flipping.
Do it again. I was listening.
Oh, I hear this in every game.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Every single one. There was one thing I wanted to do. Can I? Oh, here, I wanted to open this. Presented to Richard Hannay, intelligence officer, Mattapelle War, 1897, soldier of the British Empire. Okay, cool.
A war criminal.
I mean,
No, I'm
probably.
just,
I
don't know.
Colonialism was a wild thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm done here. I read the papers and then left. Mostly the artwork's pretty good, though. Like,
Yeah, it's really good.
it's nice. About 6 o'clock, I went home after reading a bunch of fucking shit,
Okay.
making all the American readers feel really stupid.
Damn, I thought the game was over.
Okay, we're going somewhere else. I guess we're going... Where are we going?
I swear to God, if it's the library, I'm gonna be very upset.
Devonshire. Seems like a nice part of London.
It's, very British.
Yes. My
I
flat
mean,
was the-
obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you are British, huh?
My flat was the first floor in a new block behind Langham Place. I guess I'm gonna go in there. There was no restaurant or anything of that sort, and each flat was quite shut off from the others. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna go wherever I'm going. Oh, I'm free to move now. Okay.
Take the elevator.
The elevator. Whoa. The fuck? Dear.
Sorry.
I cannot.
The lift.
Dear Richard, how is London? I do hope Paddock is looking after you well and that you... Oh god, I can't. Can it show text?
Hit show text.
Here we go. Yeah. How is London? I do hope Paddock is looking after you well and that your luck on the horses is lasting out. 10 to 1 it is. Now here's a tale for you. Last month in the
You're a
Kalahari, I
gambler.
found myself in a tight spot. After 2 days on the plane, I lost my way and could not find the river. I was forced to go without water for 3 days, and 5 without a morsel of food save for a few mopane worms, an excellent source of protein which steered me away from starvation. Then I ran into an old chief to whom I owed money because of my debt. He refused to help me, so I had to continue on my feet. The desert is not kind to any man, but I made it out.
Maybe you shouldn't owe him a debt. Like, that's why he refused to help you pay your debts.
But I made it out, and a man in the Tang sold me a Rohirrian Ridgeback, which will be my partner for future hunts. I have named the animal Shaka after the old Zulu chief, and will take him to the Congo with me where I go for the elephants. I plan to leave next week if you can get my new rifle finished in time. If I can get my lord's fucking colonialism. Let's go shoot the elephants. That sounds like fun. They're not gonna be endangered or any shit like that. What could possibly go wrong?
Mentality of the CEO of Jimmy John's, I think. Right. He's like a notorious hunter. Oh. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Draw the symbols as they appear. Okay. 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 That's a new mechanic I've not seen before. Okay,
This game isn't what I was expecting, and now I'm very upset.
That's me home. I'll be heading out for dinner.
Tired.
I'm heading for dinner. Person who doesn't live with me. Oops, I hate servants on the premises, so I had a fellow look after me who came in by the day. He arrived before 8 o'clock every morning and used to depart at 7, for I never dined at home. Okay. So, you have a servant that comes in and cleans your shit. Got it. And then I just go to sleep. Okay. Sure. Go home, go to sleep, and I don't know what we're doing now.
Bring back to the awful place of books.
That evening, I dined at the Cafe Royal and then headed elsewhere for entertainment. Okay.
Go to bed.
He did go to bed. This is the next day.
Go back to bed.
The Alhambra.
Alhambra. Say it like a true Londoner. Alhambra.
Alhambra. And even, okay, I can go to the square or music halls, I guess.
The Leicestershire Square.
Sure.
Or the music halls. Oh. No,
on this particular evening, I wandered to the square where a more pleasant theater of varieties could be found. A show at the Alhambra attack caught my eye, though one could never be quite sure of the act until it had been seen. If I'm gonna speak British, I have to end that Alhambra as Alhambra with the
Alhambra?
Alhambra.
This.
Because a lot of British folks, they don't mean it, but it sounds like they're saying
I know.
ER at the end. The countless...
They also do the thing where they say no, but it sounds like they're saying no with an R.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's Australian.
No.
New Zealand?
No.
Nar.
No. The countless music
it's
halls
the British to blame for words like Worcestershire.
I think that one's German, actually.
Let me have this.
No, we can blame the English for words like beef, pork, and ham, and then pig, cow, and goat, I think. So it's the reason our meats have different names compared to the actual animal.
I mean, at least they're easy to pronounce and not like Worcestershire.
Countless music halls of London were one way of passing the evening away. Farces of all styles played a conspicuous part in this weekend's bill. Cool, we're done there. Woo! Did an event. It was a silly show, I did not stay long.
Show us the show!
I know, right? I'm gonna laugh and get killed by fucking Jack the Ripper, which is 100 years
I
out
would
of
be
date.
so happy. I would be so happy.
Some 100 years out of date.
If this just takes like a sudden dark turn, like mummies are real and they're gonna take revenge on you specifically for colonialism and stealing, grave robbing the.
Grave robbing everything.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. On the way home, I gave half
Really?
a crown to a beggar because I saw him yawn. He was a fellow sufferer. Sounds like
Oh
an
my.
epilepsy. I made a vow I would give the old country another day to fit me into something. Okay? What, are you you're just bored because you're in London? If nothing happened, I
Nothing
would
to
take
do. You can't go see a play. Sorry.
You're fine. Nothing happened, I would take the next boat for the Cape. I guess he just doesn't like London. I mean, he grew up in
Then why are you here?
He grew up in Cape.
Oh, well, if we can't get back, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he grew up in like he can get back. It's just he was literally came up as like, I'm gonna give London a try, and it's too London, it's too English for him.
Yeah, if we have to do 39 of these, I'm not up for that. I'm not doing all 39 of these steps.
There's only 17.
This is what. Well, that's 10 too many. I can maybe do like 4.
An unlikely visit. Monday 18th. Wimpole Street, London. 4 days later.
Wimpole is my favorite Pokemon.
Went inside. Opened the door.
Let's finally go to bed.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
An
can I speak
intruder.
to you? May I come
No,
in for
go
a minute?
away. No!
Recognized him as an occupant of a flat on the top floor with whom I had passed the time of day on the stairs. He was slim with a short brown beard and small gimlety blue eyes. What the fuck does that mean? I've never heard that word before.
I don't know, but it sounds like mean.
His hand was pawing at my arm. I motioned him in.
Why?
Oh my god.
Every time?
Every time.
Every time.
Apparently.
Every time there's a
this is the
fucking
gameplay.
doorknob. This can't be the gameplay.
No sooner
I'm
was
not
he...
having this.
No sooner than he was over the threshold than he made a dash for my back room where I used to smoke and write my letters. Then he bolted back. The fuck
Do you
did
need to use the bathroom,
Is the door locked?
sir? Sorry, I mean the loo.
Lock the door, he says. He filled himself a stiff whiskey and soda and then drank it off in 3 gulps.
Are you sure you don't mean tea?
I sat down in an armchair and lit up my pipe. I was pretty certain that I had to deal with a madman.
I'm very
Why did you
sorry.
let him in?
It's a mighty liberty, but you look like the kind of man who would understand. I've had you in my mind all this week when things got troublesome.
Why are you
Say-
southern?
Will you do me a good turn?
I'll listen to you. That's all I'll promise.
Pardon. I'm a bit rattled tonight. You see, I happen at this moment to be dead.
What does it feel like?
A smile flickered over his drawn face. What?
I'm not mad. Yet.
What?
Say, sir, I've been watching you, and I reckon you're a cool customer. I reckon, too, you're an honest man and not afraid of playing a bold hand. I'm gonna confide in you. I need help worse than any man ever needed it. I want to know if I can
I
count
need
you
help
in.
getting back to my home planet of Texas.
Get on with your yarn and I'll tell you.
Sorry to complain so much.
The queerest rigmarole.
Hmm.
Franklin P. Scooter was an American from Kentucky. You were right about that. After college being
Was
pretty
he?
well off, he started out into the world.
Is that what Kentuckians sound like? I guess kinda. Never mind.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge? Yeah.
He wrote a bit and acted as a war correspondent for a Chicago paper. Oh, he's that guy. We read his article. He had played about with politics first for interest, and then because he couldn't help himself. And then he made his discovery. He's a creep.
Okay.
Oh gosh, he went behind the tree. He's sneaky. Away behind all the governments and the armies, there's a big subterranean movement going on. Uh-oh. Engineered by some very dangerous people. It's the Illuminati.
People. It could be another kind of dangerous people that were probably rising to power around this time.
The sort of anarchists.
Which I hope that's not what it is.
And behind them were financiers who were playing with money. I love how the deer's just like looking at them. They wanted Russia and Germany at loggerheads. Well, that's not unusual. Everything would be in the melting pot. The anarchists looked to see a new world emerge, while the capitalists would make fortunes by buying up the wreckage, and Scooter had himself convinced that Jewish men were behind it all. Oh boy.
That's really hoping it's linked to that conspiracy theory.
On the 15th day of June, Konstantin Karolides is coming to this city. The British Foreign Office has taken to having international tea parties,
If this takes
and the
a
biggest of
turn,
them is
and
due
it's
on
like,
that
oh,
date.
the Jewish people actually
No.
are behind everything.
Karolides is reckoned the principal
I
guest,
don't
and if my
think we
friends
should
have their way,
play
he will
this
never return to his admiring countrymen.
much more
I sat up
with
for...
if that drops.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to,
Sorry.
because the Jews
I
have
hope
always
not.
they've always been the scapegoat for a lot
Yeah.
of European conflict, because, like, legitimately, what did they actually do? Oh, they were an insular culture that didn't conform? Okay. What else did they do? Fucking nothing. Like, the last time any quote-unquote Jewish people were problematic was, like, 2,000 some years ago, when they were still the Israelites, the Palestinian, not Palestinians, but, fuck, what's the other one? They're different. There were several nationalities.
Yeah.
I don't want to say
Yeah.
the wrong one because I can't remember which ones
Yeah.
are which, but, like, that was
Back
about
when-
the last time.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Please continue.
I sat up for that
Sorry to
fright and
interrupt.
reading about Karolides that very afternoon.
Well, that's simple enough, anyhow. You can warn him and keep him at home.
And play their game. If he does not come, they win, for he's the only man that can straighten out the tangle. And if his government are warned, he won't come, for he does not know how big the stakes will be on June the 15th.
I was beginning to get interested in the beggar.
And what about the British government? They're not going to let their guests be murdered. Tip them the wink, and they'll take extra precautions.
No good. They might stuff your city with plainclothes detectives and double the police, and Constantine would still be a doomed man. He'll be murdered by an Austrian, and there'll be plenty of evidence to show the connivance of the big folk in Vienna and Berlin. It will all be an infernal lie, of course, but the case will look black enough to the world. But it's not going to come off if there's a certain man alive right here in London on the 15th day of June. And that man is going to be your servant, Franklin P. Scudder.
Okay. I'm wondering if they're talking about the shit that sparked World War One.
That's what I was wondering.
Because I don't know who Constantine is, but I know it was roughly about this time that one Duke got fucking blown up, and
Yeah.
that's what sparked the war to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I think it was like a Serbian assassin attacked Archduke Ferdinand. I think.
I can't.
I think. I don't know.
Dude, World War
It
One
would-
is so
Yeah.
poorly taught in the U.S. because we were only in part of it for like the back half.
Yeah. We were taught like the beginning of it, and like only once. Not as much as like the Declaration of Independence
Yeah.
of the state capitals or whatever.
Yeah, and like World
But
War
like,
Two.
yeah.
We learned more about World War Two than I think I ever did about World War One, because World War
Yeah.
One was kind of fought for stupid reasons because of stupid stuff, but like,
Yeah.
um,
Like a completely different country assassinates the Archduke.
yeah,
And then in the end, Germany gets punished and separated or whatever.
yeah, and it fucks them up, which is what causes
Or-
the rise of the Nazi
Not
Party.
separated. Yeah.
Well, they're
I don't know when they were separated.
the
Like
sanct-
into West Germany, East Germany.
that was World War Two.
Okay, that's what I wondered.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was after World War II, and that lasted till like I think
Okay.
1985, I think. And like Berlin was also
yeah.
split in half as well, which is nightmarish for some
Because they
of the
had
folks.
they had the wall,
Yeah.
and
The Berlin Wall.
I think it was Reagan that says, Mr. Whatever, tear down this wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one president said that. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the 80s.
Yeah. I remember that
Anyway.
much because there's pictures and stuff and video of people tearing down that wall after that much time
Yeah.
being separated, because
Yeah.
the eastern part of fucking Berlin was very unhappy because of the Soviet rule, which is fair because Soviet Russia was not great
Yeah.
from its get-go, because it was like, also watched a video about fucking John Lennon, and he was
Yeah, John Lennon's a piece of shit.
oh yeah.
Like, a lot of people blame Yoko Ono for, like, breaking up the Beatles. But, like, they don't realize that, like, John Lennon, like, full on cheated on his wife with Yoko. Like, and, like, he was a dick to his son. Like, his own fucking son. And, like, Paul McCartney, he wrote a whole song for John Lennon's son called Hey Jude. Yeah.
I love the fact that we were actually talking about two different people.
Okay. Oh, you mean Joseph Stalin?
No,
No.
It was not Stalin. John Lennon, I believe his name was John Lennon.
Okay.
He was the one that pushed Russia into the Soviet Union, and then
Oh my God,
died.
I'm so sorry.
Died. And then, because of the position that Joseph Stalin had gotten in his cabinet, was able to be like, cool, hey, I give the jobs to all the people that I want to give jobs to, which means, guess what? I'm the leader now. And then that's how we got into even more dictatorship than what John Lennon was originally doing.
Yeah. And then he went on to create the Beatles, and that was pretty shitty too.
Yeah, the dead
I'm
dude.
absolutely joking. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
No. Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Oof. Anyway.
Sorry, I completely misunderstood.
Oh, no, you're fine. It's funny.
Everybody named John Lennon is problematic.
I was getting to like the little chap. His jaw had shut like a rat trap, and there was a fire of battle behind his... What the fuck does gimlet eat? I've never seen that word before, and I hate it.
It sounds like it might be like a racial slur. I
Where
don't
did you
know
find
how,
out this story?
and I don't know.
I completed my evidence 10 days ago in Paris.
But it sounds bad.
I can't tell you the details now, for it's something of a history. But when I was quite sure in my own mind, I judged it my business to disappear. And I reached this city by a mighty queer circuit. Till yesterday, I thought I had muddied my trail some, and was feeling pretty happy. Then,
recollection seemed to upset him, and he gulped down some more whiskey.
Then I saw a man standing in the street outside this block. I used to stay close in my room all day and only slip out after dark for an hour or two. I watched him for a bit from my window, and I thought I recognized him. He came in and spoke to the porter. When I came back from my walk last night, I found a card in my letterbox. It bore the name of the man I want least to meet on God's earth.
I think that the look in my companion's eyes, the sheer naked scare on his face, completed my conviction of his honesty.
What did you do next?
I realized I was bottled as sure as a pickled herring, and that there was only one way out. I had to die. If my pursuers knew I was dead, they would go to sleep again.
How did you manage it?
How
Eight
Scooter
pickled
died.
herring.
Oh boy. Step 1. I told the man who valets me that I was feeling pretty bad and got myself up to look like death. That wasn't difficult, for I'm no slouch at disguises. Okay.
I have run out of play,
Step 2.
is what his note said.
Then I got a corpse. You can always get a body in London if you know where to go for it. I fetched it back in a trunk on the top of a four-wheeler, and I had to be assisted upstairs to my room.
Let's dig more into the if you know where to go for it. Where did you go for it?
Cemetery.
I guess the Highgate Cemetery. Also, it says transport ?
Stairs.
So helpful. ...
Cabbie. Oh, the cabbie helped him. Step 3.
Okay.
I had to pile up evidence for the inquest, so I went to bed and got my man to mix me a sleeping draught, and then I told him to clear out. He wanted to fetch me a doctor, but I swore some and said I couldn't abide leeches. Oh, that's right, they were still using leeches at this time. Boy.
Yeah.
There will be an inquest. Need to supply evidence. Feign death. Sleeping draught. Who to administer. Step 4. When I was left alone, I started to fake up that corpse. He was my size. I had judged he had perished from too much alcohol, so I put some spirits about the place. The jaw was the weak point in the likeness, so I blew it away with a revolver. I dare say there will be somebody to swear having heard a shot, but there are no neighbors on my floor, and I guessed I could risk it. Jesus Christ, bro.
A gun ? And then it looks like it says Mia make one loud bang. Neighbors ...
Jesus.
I don't know what it says over make.
Step 5. I left the body in bed dressed up in my pajamas. I love how it says pajamas. With a revolver. Lying on the bedclothes and a considerable mess around. Then I got into a suit of clothes and I kept waiting for emergencies.
Maybe that's how they spell it in Britain.
Britain, maybe.
Like color with the but
U.
it's color with a U. Yeah.
Color.
Color. Pajamas.
I didn't dare shave for fear of leaving tracks, and besides, it wasn't any kind of use trying to get into the streets. Also, you know what's really funny? Apparently, the more generic version of the American accent is actually what British people sounded like about 200 years ago. And so
that's what the internet says, which I would take with a grain of salt.
But they diverted somehow.
Well, how would they track that exactly?
Probably from written word.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if you can get accent from written word to track that. I don't know.
I had you in my mind all day.
I'm skeptical.
And there seemed nothing to do but to make an appeal to you.
Because I've heard that a lot.
I watched from my window till I saw you come home, and then slipped down the stair to meet you.
I thought he had a French accent for a second.
He's up blinking like an owl, fluttering with nerves and desperately determined.
There, sir. I guess you know about as much as me of this business.
Okay.
I could know what. To drink the whiskey? To pour and drink the whiskey?
Yep.
This is the gameplay.
I was now pretty well convinced that he was going straight with me. Or he was going... Yeah, okay. It was the wildest sort of narrative, but I had heard it in my time many steep tales which had turned out to be true. And if he had wanted to get a location in my flat and then cut my throat, he would have pitched a milder yarn.
Hand me your key,
You
and I'll
kinda
take a
just
look at the
let him in,
corpse.
and
Excuse my
if he wanted
caution,
to
but
kill
I'm
you,
bound to verify a bit if I
you
can.
know,
I reckon you'd
probably
ask for
still could
that,
have killed you without the yarn.
but I haven't got it. It's on my chain on the dressing table. I had to leave it behind, for I couldn't leave any clues to breed suspicions.
You can't go
The
with
gentry who
corpse.
are after me are pretty bright-eyed citizens. You'll have to take me on trust for the night, and tomorrow you'll get the proof of the corpse business right enough.
Corpse business.
I thought for an instant,
It's
Sir
a booming.
Right. I'll trust you for the night. I'll lock you into this room and keep the key. Just one word, Mr. Scudder. I believe you're straight. But if so be
No,
you are
he's
not,
queer. We've established this.
I should warn you that I'm a handy man with a gun.
I haven't the privilege of your name, sir, but let me tell you that you're a true gentleman. Now, I'll thank you to lend me a razor.
I don't know that you should give a guy who's like a guest in your house, apartment, flat, the razor when you don't know him.
I took him into my bedroom and turned him loose.
This is where it gets queer.
Yeah. In half an hour's time, a figure came out that I scarcely recognized.
Oh, I
My
see.
hat.
Okay.
Mr. Scudder.
He was shaving. That's what was happening. Nothing
A
clear.
new man. Differences. He was very...
New man who just
He was the very model, even to the brown complexion, of some British officer who had had a long spell in India. He was shaved clean, his hair was parted down in the middle, and he had cut his eyebrows. Similarities. Only his gimlety, hungry eyes were the same. God damn it! Fucking hate it. I hate
okay.
it. I hate
I'm
that name.
gonna
Not
Google
Mr.
this
Scudder.
word.
Captain Theophilus Digby of the 40th
I don't
Gurkhas.
like it.
Presently home on leave. I'll thank you to remember that, sir.
Made him up in a bed in the smoking room and sought my own couch, more cheerful than I had been for the past month. Things did happen occasionally, even in this godforsaken metropolis. New event deeper into this mess. Bum, bum.
Means like a gimlet, piercing, penetrating eyes. I don't think that's very helpful.
I don't know what a gimlet is. Deeper into this mess. Tuesday 19th, 1914.
A small tool for boring holes. Well, he's pretty boring. So far.
Doot, doot, doot. Milk person. Get your milk. Get your milk.
Get your milk here.
Light on.
We should get some of those clap-on lights.
Stop that row,
Just 'cause
Paddock.
they
There's a
sound
friend
fun.
of mine, Captain...
Morgan.
he's dossing down in there.
No.
Get breakfast for 2, and then come and speak to me.
Paddock. Character. He
Okay.
had about as much gift of the gab as a hippopotamus and was not a great hand at valet. Well, yeah. But I knew I could count on his loyalty.
Is that good or bad? I don't know how the hippos gab. Like, what are you talking about?
Paddock was a fellow I had done a good turn to on the select, and I had inspanned him as my servant as soon as I got to England. Is that the English bridge? London Bridge is
Bridge?
Burning down?
I thought it fell down.
I don't know.
So the gimlet is either a tool that bores holes, or a drink consisting of sweetened lime juice or with gin vodka. I'm guessing the tool. So I'm guessing he's just saying his eyes look sharp,
Yeah.
like staring through him. Yeah.
So fancy.
English lesson.
I told Paddock a fine story about how my friend was a great swell and his nerves pretty bad from overwork, who wanted absolute rest and stillness. Nobody had got to know he was here, or he would be besieged by communications from the India office, and the Prime Minister and his cure would be ruined. So
How do you know you're not just getting scammed? Like, why do you trust this guy?
Yeah. I am bound to say Scooter played up splendidly when he came to breakfast. He fixed Paddock with his eyeglass, just like a British officer, asked him about the Boer War, and slung out at me a lot of stuff about imaginary pals. Paddock couldn't learn to call me sir, but he sirred Scooter as if his life depended on it. Interesting. I left him with the newspaper and a box of cigars and headed out to Alexandra Park Racecourse. Uh-oh, go to the horse
His
track.
name Gutter or Scooter?
Scooter.
Okay.
Scooter, I don't know.
Imagine being named Scooter.
When I got back to the lift man had an important face. Oh. Hello.
Nasty business here this morning, sir. Gent in number 15 been and shot himself. They've just took him to the mortuary. The police are up there now.
Oh god. That was fucking... That voice actor sounds familiar. To me anyway. I sent it to number
Skyrim.
15. No, not Skyrim. And found a couple of bobbies and an inspector busy making an examination. I asked a few idiotic questions and they soon kicked me out. I attended the inquest the next day. The jury found
Really?
it a case of suicide while of unsound mind.
I'm really starting to think they should localize British stuff like they do for Japanese anime and movies.
Jesus.
Translate it for me.
I gave Scooter a full account of the affair and it interested him greatly. He said he wished he could have attended, for he reckoned it would be about as spicy as to read one's own obituary notice. Scooter was very peaceful the first 2 days he stayed with me. He read and smoked a bit, and made a heap of jostlings in a notebook, and every night we had a game of chess at which he beat me hollow. But on the third day I could see he was beginning to get restless.
Well, nobody likes chess that much.
He fixed up the list of days and started making remarks against them. He started listening for little noises and was always asking me if Paddock could be trusted. Once or twice he got very peevish and apologized for it. I didn't blame him. I made every allowance, for he had taken on a fairly stiff job. And then one night, he was very solemn.
Say, Hanny,
What is it?
Judge, I should let you a bit deeper into this business. I should hate to go out without leaving somebody else to put up a fight.
I killed the man the other day. It wasn't a suicide.
He began to tell me in detail that I had only heard from him vaguely. I did not give him very close attention. The fact is, I was more interested in his own adventures than in his high politics. The plot thickens. Kalolides. I reckon that Kalolides and his affairs were not my business, so a lot that Scooter had said slipped clean out of my memory. It was very clear that the danger to Kalolides would not begin till he had got to London and would come from the very highest quarters, where there would be no thought of suspicion. He mentioned the name of a woman, Julia Shekini, I think. Shekiny? Ugh. As having something to do with the danger. She would be the decoy, I gathered, to get Karolides out of the care of his guards.
That's a hard name to
Oh,
even try to
gosh.
pronounce.
When I'm not
Yeah.
at all familiar with how Czech names actually sound. Yeah. Because, like, I've very little knowledge on any sort of Eastern European languages.
Yeah.
He talked about a black stone and a man that lisped in his speech, and he described very particularly somebody that he had never referred to without a shudder, an old man who could hood his eyes like a hawk. Okay, what does that even... I can't even visualize that. What the fuck does that mean? He remained solemn for the rest of the evening and spoke a good deal about death.
I reckon it's like going to sleep when you're pretty well tired out. Awaking to find a summer day with the scent of hay coming in at the window. I used to thank God for such mornings way back in the bluegrass country. And I guess I'll thank him when I wake up on the other side of Jordan.
The next day, he was much more cheerful, and the read the life of Stone. Okay, the next day he was much
And
more
read
cheerful.
the life.
Yeah, and read the life of Stonewall Jackson much of the time, while the rest of London celebrated Empire Day, which is funny because Stonewall Jackson is one of my relatives. I went out to dinner with a mining engineer who I had to see on business, and came back in time for a game of chess before turning in. There's loud fucking room.
Yeah.
Every time, I guess. What's this? Uh-oh. I left Captain Digby reading in the smoking room with a fresh box of cigars. He was not interested in the Empire Day celebrations, but allowed me to leave to go see them. I have acquired fresh eggs and bacon for tomorrow's breakfast. Paddock. Okay. Cigars, okay. I guess we'll go over here. Uh-oh. I see a knife. That's a knife.
Uh-oh.
He dead. Uh-oh.
God. Scott.
Event in the soup.
In the soup. We're gonna make a soup out of them.
Jesus.
Is this Scooter who's dead?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. He had it coming.
The murder of the American spy suggests he wasn't talking hot air, but everything points to Hannay as the killer.
Damn, Hannay.
Oh boy.
Alright, time to make this soup.
Time to make him into some soup.
This is where the real gameplay begins. It turns into, like, cooking segment from, like, Nancy Drew games.
Yes.
Cooking Mama. Yeah.
Cooking Mama. Oh, jeez.
First we gotta debone him. Then we gotta chop up the meat. Then we gotta make a nice broth.
He's fucking
Don't
dead.
forget vegetables.
The poor, staring white face was more than I could bear,
Yeah,
so I covered up with a sheet.
yeah.
I staggered to a cupboard, found the brandy, and swallowed several mouthfuls. Because that's gonna help.
I mean, well, my help is nerves, I guess. I don't know.
I had seen men die violently before. Indeed, I had killed a few myself in the Matabele War, but this cold-blooded indoor business was different. I needed
This
to
was
think.
murder.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was. The
Yeah.
brutal slaying. The body. Jesus, this guy's freaking out. His enemies had found him and had taken the best way to make certain of his silence. Scooter had been in my rooms for 4 days, and his enemies must have reckoned that he had confided in me. I would be next to go. It might be that very night, or the next day, or the day after, but my number was up all right.
Stepped on that page. Never mind. We're not gonna get an answer. Probably his murderer.
Supposing I went out now and called the police, or went to bed and let Paddock find the body and call them in the morning, what kind of a story was I to tell about Scooter? The odds were 1,000 to 1 that I would be charged with the murder, and the circumstantial evidence was strong enough to hang me. Fuck.
Hide the body, that'll be more fun.
I'll hide it under the bed, it's fine.
That'll make you look innocent. Yeah.
Few people knew me in England. I had no real pal who could come forward and swear to my character. Perhaps that was what those secret enemies were playing for. They were clever enough for anything, and an English prison was a good way to get rid of me until June 15th, as a knife in my chest. If I told the whole
You
story...
should leave town.
Yeah.
That's what innocent people do.
If I told the whole story, and by any miracle was believed, I would be playing their game. Carolites would stay at home, which is what they wanted. I am no ordinary sort of fellow, not braver than other people, but I hate to see a good man downed, and that long knife would not be the end of Scooter if I could play the game in his place.
How do you know how long the knife is? Unless you stabbed him.
It's got a weird fucking handle. Oh man, look
Yeah.
at all that shit. Someone must have been searching for something, perhaps for the pocketbook. Oh boy, time for me to investigate. What? I guess we'll see what we got here. Got... Oh. Cigars. Okay. Oh, he's got paper in there. Something comes to London. Greek premier pushes for Balkan resolve. Blah, 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 politics. Wait, is there more than that? Oh, there's not. American agent suicide by gunshot. Okay. What's this? There's something under the waistcoat pocket. Okay, we'll lift it up and find it. Oh boy, a
I
knife.
was about to say, it's another knife!
Oh boy, a knife. Coins? Fuck yeah, take all of it. Loot the body.
I mean, yeah. This is what you do when you kill someone in a video game. You loot their corpse.
The knife had pinned Scooter to the floor. Jesus.
Well, how long is this knife?
Well, take it. Take the... Whoops, that's not what I... Whoop.
Oh, but fingerprints.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
Oh, no, I fucked it up.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're back.
Alright, speed run.
Speed run. Oh, fuck. Let's see. I'm missing something. What am I missing?
Good thing he wasn't stabbed in the crotch
I mean...
with the sheet on top of him.
Right?
Then it would look like he had a boner.
Oh, jeez.
That would be awkward.
It would be. Oh, fuck, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to show text. The life of Stonewall Jackson. On your duty and leave the rest to Providence. Let us too trust that all is well and look beyond this storm, beyond the darkness, blood, and mourning of the present. The sunshine seemed less bright, the future dark with clouds and gloom and death. Jackson is dead, dead and gone, like a common everyday mortal who could supply his place. Yeah, he got fucking shot.
Spoilers.
He got shot during the Civil War and died.
Spoilers.
Yeah. He died, unfortunately.
Yeah,
He got shot.
yeah.
I think he had to have something amputated. The amputation went poorly, and he's dead. Dead.
Good.
Dead, dead. Yeah.
Good. Fuck him. I don't know. No.
Yeah. It's a sad
yeah.
time. What else
Eh.
is there to look at?
Yeah.
Here we go. There's me, I guess. Look at my thing.
You look like a
Shit.
dweeb. Sorry.
Alright. Dear Peter, it was
What?
Samuel Johnson who wrote, "When you are tired of London, you are tired of life? Well, my dear Peter, if so, then I am tired of life, for here I am in London, bored and at my wit's end. The city is noisy and chaotic, and I can't get any exercise. I'm yet to meet a suitable lady to pass my time
Ew.
with, though I have to meet a few unsuitable ones."
Why don't women like me? forever alone.
One something better than his. Oh, wait, there's more. Okay. My bets are paying off on the track, however, and my shares with the Rosian Diamond Mines continue to keep me dining in the capital's best restaurants, despite Paddock's continual insistence that I should dine at home and try his culinary skills. One can only hope that they are better than his valet skills. Speak soon, friend, Richard Henney. Okay, that's in my box. Oh, that's my my badge of honor thing that I won. With Queen Victoria. Oh good, they found the pictures of my dog, not my dog. Okay, that dog is super cute though.
Yeah, it is.
I love greyhounds.
Is the dog okay?
Apparently.
Or is it okay? It's just not here. Maybe it's not your dog.
Yeah. He's my doggo.
Better be your doggo.
Oh, okay.
Clue!
Clue, yeah. There was no trace of Scooter's black book. Most likely the enemy had found it, but they had not found it on Scooter's body. I had come to a decision. I must vanish somehow and keep vanished till the end of the second week in June. Then I must find a way to get in touch with the government people and tell them what Scooter had told me.
So far, really, the only gameplay we've really had to do is like drinking whiskey and doorknobs.
Yeah.
So, like, unless this is the game. No, it's not. Well, it is, but you know.
I wish to heaven he had told me more, and that I had listened more carefully to what he had told me. There was a big risk that, even if I weathered the other dangers, I would not be believed in the end. I must take my chance of that and hope that something might happen which would confirm my tale in the eyes of the government. Is there anything else I can like?
Is there a doorknob to like trigger the mechanic?
My notion was to
journal.
My notion was to get off some wild district where my Veldcraft would be of some use to me, for I would be like a trapped rat in a city. I must go to the... Oh, we're going there. Isn't that Denmark? Oh no, that's Scotland. I considered that Scotland would be best, for my people were Scottish, and I could pass anywhere as an ordinary Scotsman. I fixed on Galloway as the best place to go. It was the nearest wild part of Scotland, and from the look of that map, it was not overthick with population. Oh. Looking at the stuff. Looking at the train schedule.
Too many words.
How was I to make my way to St. Pancras, the train station? I was pretty certain that Scooter's friends would be watching for me outside. This puzzled me for a bit. Then I had an inspiration, on which I went to bed and slept for 2 tropical hours.
Yeah, they can't just like walk in and kill you. Not like they did to Scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very convenient that it stops raining during the day, but okay.
Waking up, I had a great revulsion of feeling and felt a God-forgotten fool. My inclination was to let things slide and trust to the British police taking a reasonable view of my case. But as I reviewed the situation, I could find no arguments to bring against my decision of the previous night. So with a wiry mouth, I resolved to go on with my plan. I hunted out a well-used tweed suit, a pair of strong-nailed boots, and a flannel shirt with collar. Into my pockets I stuffed a spare shirt, a cloth cap, and some handkerchiefs, and a toothbrush. I took 50 pounds of it in sovereigns in a belt, which I had brought back from Rhodesia. Okay.
Bloody sink.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not.
Now
He
it's
washed it.
okay. I'm going to clipping my beard.
So if you, like, fuck it up, do you just, like, cut your face or what?
Now came the next step. Paddock used to arrive punctually at 7:30 and let himself in with a latchkey. But about 20 minutes to 7, I knew from bitter experience the milkman turned up with a great clatter of cans and deposited my share outside my door. On him,
Rob him.
On him, I staked all my chances.
Think of all the milk you could get. Steal his life. Start a new one.
I went into the darkened smoking room where I breakfasted on a whiskey and soda and some biscuits with a dead body just laying there. But this time it was from getting on for 6 o'clock. I put a pipe in my pocket, filled my pouch from the tobacco jar on the table by the fireplace. Take it all. Whoop, what's that? Uh-oh, found the black book. Information collected. Uh-oh. It seemed a good omen. Well, Scooter, we found your book. Good job, boy.
Goodbye, old chap. I'm going to do my best for you. Wish me well, wherever you are.
I hung about in the hall waiting for the milkman.
Maybe it wasn't the milkman.
I was fairly choking to get out of doors. The fool had chosen this day of all to be late. Third-class citizen. Sunday, 24th May, 1940. Wimpole Street in London. Can't click forward. Gotta watch that clock. Milkman, here he come. The milkman cometh.
Milk deployed.
God blimey!
Come in here a moment. I want a word with you.
Of course you would say
Yes, sir.
core blimey. Fucking dweeb.
He was a young man about my own height with an ill-nourished mustache and wearing a flat
you're
blue
gonna
cap and
kill
white
him.
overalls.
You are gonna steal his life. Oh no.
I reckon you're a bit of a sportsman, and I want you to do me a service. Lend me your cap and overall for 10 minutes, and here's a sovereign for you.
His eyes opened at the sight of the gold, and he grinned broadly.
What's the game?
A bet. I haven't time to explain, but to win it, I've got to be a milkman for the next 10 minutes, and all you've got to do is to stay here till I come back. You'll be a bit late, but nobody will
Don't go into
complain,
the other room.
and you'll have
There's
that quid
not
for
a
yourself.
dead body.
Right.
Do not ask questions.
I ain't the man to spoil a bit of sport.
Don't even smell it
Is
in
there,
here.
Gaffer?
Wearing his hat and overalls, I went whistling downstairs.
Definitely not a corpse in my side room. Don't look. Thanks. Bye.
At first I thought there was nobody in the street. Then I caught sight of a policeman 100 yards down and a loafer shuffling past on the other side. I crossed the street in character, whistling gaily and imitating the jaunty swing of the milkman. Some impulse made me raise my eyes to the house opposite, and there at the first floor window was a face. As the loafer passed, he looked up, and I fancied a signal was exchanged. Then I took the first side street. There was no one in the alleyway, so I dropped the milk cans inside the hoarding and sent the cap and overall after them. I had only just put on my cloth cap when a postman came around the corner. I gave him good morning. He answered me unsuspiciously.
It's pretty suspicious. Oh, the scene exploded. Okay.
Then I took to my heels and ran.
This music is too exciting for what we are seeing.
Get to the train station. I had no time to take a ticket. Edward told me to the platform. I saw the train already in motion. 2 station officials blocked the way.
Push him under the tracks. Keep running.
I dodged them and clambered into the last carriage.
I shoved an old lady onto the tracks as I jumped on the train.
3 minutes later,
And there
an
was-
irate guard interviewed me. He wrote out for me a ticket to Newton Stewart, a name which had suddenly come back to my memory. Then he conducted me from the first-class compartment to a third-class smoker. I mean, the compartment...
Yeah, suck it.
The compartment was occupied by a sailor and a stout woman with a child. Oh boy, time for me to click things. Heralds, week in Paris, hot weather and politics, talk of a new ministry, attractions of the season, the Pope's,
The Pope's job.
Pius X on the influence of women. Fuck off, Pius.
You don't get to tell me what to do.
Affairs in Berlin, new minister chills democratic hopes. Empire Day, yesterday's parade of 6,000 in Hyde Park. Empire Day.
Obesity can be reduced without drugs or starvation. Sure, dude.
It's a sad job catching trains.
Aye.
Good
The
accent.
impudence of that Geard. He needed a Scotch tongue to put him in his place. He was complaining in this way and no haying a ticket and her no fower till August 12 month. And he was objecting to this gentleman spitting.
Okay.
I mean, I would too.
I had a solemn time traveling north that day. I asked myself why, when I was still a free man, had I stayed on it in London and not got the good off this heavenly country. Then I got out Scooter's little pocketbook and studied it.
Okay, I'm fine with the reading. This mechanic, like, completely unnecessary.
It's all in Roman numerals.
If you just want to fucking write a novel, like a visual novel, that's fine. You don't need the mechanic.
I was certain that Scooter did anything without a reason, and I was pretty sure there was a cipher in all of this. I don't know what the keyword is. I tried for hours, but none of the words answered. Yeah, shit. I have a head for things like chess and puzzles, and I used to reckon myself pretty good at finding out ciphers. These sets of figures look like they corresponded to the letters of the alphabet. In BR. I woke up at Dumfries just in time to bundle out onto the crowded platform. There was a young man on the platform whose looks I didn't like, but he never glanced at me. I sighted myself in the mirror of an automatic machine. With my brown face, my old tweeds, and my slouch, I was the very model of one of the hill farmers who were now crowding into the third-class carriages. I boarded
Have
the
to ask why
gallery.
the train turned
Green.
green from red, but yeah. Third class, got it. I guess?
No, it's a
Never
different
mind.
train. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
cool.
connecting route.
Okay.
I boarded the Galloway train, traveling with half a dozen in an atmosphere of shag and clay pipes.
Det sägs att
They come up from the weekly market and announce reasonable prices.
This audio's very Scottish now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Passengers. Above half the men had lurched heavily and were highly flavored with whiskey, but they took no notice of me. I heard accounts of how the lambing had gone up the Cairn and the douche had and a dozen other mysterious waters. I have no idea what that fucking means.
I don't know how that's pronounced. I hope it's not douche, but like, could be.
About 5
For all I
o'clock,
know.
the carriage had emptied and I was left alone as I had hoped.
Ah,
I got out at the next station.
Carapazos follows.
It reminded me of one of those forgotten little stations in the Peru. An old station master with his spade over his shoulder sauntered to the train, took charge of a parcel, and went back to his potatoes, while a child of 10 received my ticket. Okay,
Pass.
path it is.
No, I don't know. I don't know what if there's even another option.
Captain's
In case you want to
best
enjoy the scenery.
I guess we found ourselves a little house. I was getting very hungry when I eventually came to a herd's cottage. A brown-faced woman greeted me with the kindly shyness of moorland places. When I asked for a night's lodging, she said I was welcome to the bed in the loft, and very soon she set before me a hearty meal of ham and eggs, scones, and thick sweet milk. At the darkening, her man came from the hills, a lean giant who in one step covered as much ground as 3 paces of ordinary mortals. They asked me no questions, for they had the perfect breeding of all dwellers in the wilds, but I could see they had set me down as a kind of dealer. I took some trouble to confirm their view. They refused any payment, and by 6 the next morning I had breakfasted and was striding southwards again. I do kind of get like the feeling that this is I've not been to Scotland, so I'm guessing this is kind of what it's like.
I think like
The openness. is
some
so
people
weird.
some people in Europe are just like that. They're hospitable,
Yeah.
yeah. Where this is very strange to us in America. We're like, yeah, strangers in my house. Hope I don't get murdered.
Yeah, well, we also
Yeah.
have a very violent culture.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah, and guns and whatnot. Yeah.
All the slackness of the past months was slipping from my bones, and I stepped out like a 4-year-old. My notion was to return to the railway line, a station or two farther on than the place where I had lighted yesterday, and to double back.
I guess occasionally you'll see like Reddit posts of people who like offer their homes to strangers like that, like complaining about Americans. Like
Yeah.
I just had this rude entitled lady who was upset that I charged her 50 cents for tea or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I waited
Or they
till I...
expected breakfast. What the fuck? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine. Yeah, I was actually just talking in general about the scenery. Because, like...
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. I mean, the closest thing we have in the States, I think, would be, like, probably out in like Montana area a little bit. But
Yeah.
like being in this big open area is just really like hilly Northland is just really interesting.
I like it.
I do too.
Seems weird, like I want to say liminal, like
Yeah.
just empty, but relaxing.
Yeah.
I could get behind it. Yeah.
We need to go to Scotland. It's just in general to Europe at some point.
Well, yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I waited till I saw the smoke of an east-going train up on the horizon. Then I approached the booking office and took a ticket for Dumfries.
Dumb fries.
Dumfries.
These fries are dumb. Sorry.
Sanctuary of the Inn. So I'm guessing, I didn't know what this game was. It's definitely a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, it seems to be, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those, which I'm okay
Yeah.
with. I just didn't
Yeah.
know what this was going to be when I started. Had no clue.
Same.
Visual novel, not graphic novel. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know
I
what I
got you.
meant.
Yeah, I did. Like, I'm okay with the visual novel aspect, but like when you stop the game to like do those mouse mechanics to drink whiskey or open a door or whatever, it does like stop the action.
Yeah.
So, and it like frustrates me a little bit because it's always in random places too.
True.
But that's my biggest gripe.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
The occupants of the carriage were an old shepherd and his dog, a walled-eyed brute I mistrusted. Oh, why? But he's this nice dog. The man was asleep, and on the cushions beside him was that morning's Scotsman.
This man is racist against dogs.
Yeah, what's wrong with dogs? Antique styles.
I guess it could bite him or something, but you don't know that.
This white. Nouns, blah. God, this is so unappealing compared to what we have today, graphic design wise.
I cannot read this. I refuse, and also there's so
yeah.
much happening.
There's so much text, I am not reading all that. Common personality, the latest news from private correspondence. I'm assuming they found the body. Let's see. Mr. Masked and defeated. Empire Day murder shocks London. Okay, I have one slightly lighter than the rest. Twice during the week. That's it. Unnamed man was discovered in the first floor. Let's see.
Even more intriguing is the arrest of a local milkman found whistling in the hallway of the apartment, a mere 5 minutes away from Oxford Street. Huh.
Yes,
Paddock had been arrested.
yeah. Interviews after that one. Okay, there's like a couple of spots here. Missing airman, feared disaster, Mr. Hamlin. Warship search English Channel. They're not able to find this dude. Suffragette outrages. Picture demands damage at Royal Scottish Academy. I bet this is the suffrage movement, which is fair. Because, yeah. Empire Day celebration. Rain erupts the Hyde Parade. Oh no. Place killer on the run. New twist turn.
Portland.
Prime suspect releases the prime suspect and reveals that the true criminal that has escaped the capital. So they figured out that the milkman wasn't actually the
Yeah.
murderer.
Shocking.
Okay.
This guy who knows nothing about any of what's happening.
No, let's look at that dog. He's fine. Just give him a cute little pet. I'm sure he's fine. We were approaching the station at which I had gone out yesterday. Uh-oh. The potato digging station master had been gingered up into some activity, for the west-going train was waiting to let us pass. From it descended 3 men who were asking him questions. Sitting well back in the shadow, I watched them carefully. They're on your trail. The wars. All the party looked out across the moor where the white road departed. I hoped they were going to take up my tracks there. I suppose that they were the local police who had been stirred up by the Scotland Yard and had traced me as far as this one horse sighting. One of them had a book and took down notes. The old potato digger seemed to have turned peevish. The child who had collected my ticket was talking
volubly?
Talking
Loudly?
a lot. I think that means
I
a
assume?
lot.
Yeah.
As we moved away from that station, the old shepherd began to stir.
Quiet, you Where am I? Oh, where am I?
You're on a train, travelling east towards Dumfries, in Scotland.
Oh, that's what comes of being a teetotaler.
A what? I expressed my surprise that in him I should have met a blue-ribbon stalwart.
Oh, aye, but I'm a strong teetotaler. Aye, I took the pledge last Martinmas and I haven't touched a drop of whiskey since
I don't know
then.
what any of this
Not
means.
even a hugmanee, though I was sair tempted.
Okay, he's supposed to be not drinking, but
That's
he
what I
had
get. I heat better than hellfire and twine looking different ways for the Sabbath.
What did it?
Here, a drink they call brandy. Now, being a teetotaler, I keep it off the whiskey, but I was nipping all day at this brandy, and I doubt I'll no be wheel for a fortnight.
Okay, sir.
Alright, cool. Good talk. Nice to meet you.
My plan had been to get out at some station down the line, but the train suddenly gave me a better chance. I looked out and saw that every carriage window was closed and no human figure appeared in the landscape. I guess we're gonna open that door.
You're gonna be a mechanic.
So I dropped quickly from the carriage. Out onto the countryside. It would have been alright, but for that infernal dog. I just shut the door.
Where am I? Oh, where am I?
What? Again, dude.
He's jumped. He's jumped to his death.
You're at the bridge where the dogs kill themselves.
Oh no. I could not have made a more public departure if I had left with a burglar and a brass band. Happily, the drunken shepherd provided a diversion. He and his dog, which was attached by a rope to his waist, suddenly cascaded out of the carriage.
Quickly, not my detail.
That blasted dog just bit me.
They had forgotten me. I looked back, but there was nothing in the landscape. For the first time, I had felt the terror of the hunted on me. It was not the police that I had thought of, but the other folk who knew that I knew Scooter's secret and dared not let me live. I was certain that they would pursue me with a keenness and vigilance unknown to the British law, and that once their grip closed on me, I should find no mercy. The mood
The
did not.
child ticket taker.
The mood did not leave me until I had reached the rim of a mountain and flung myself panting on a ridge high above the young waters of the river. I have eyes like a hawk, but I could see nothing moving in the whole countryside. Then I looked into the blue May sky, and there I saw that which set my pulses racing. I was certain, as if I had been told, that the aeroplane was looking for me, and that it did not belong to the police. These heather hills were no sort of cover if my enemies were in the sky, and I must find a different kind of sanctuary. I kept onwards.
Bad news, I am laying on the floor pillow.
Okay. About 6 in the evening, I came out of the moorland. I'm going to approach. Scottish moors.
As when a griffin. As when a griffin through the wilderness with winged step.
I like that all the people are invisible.
As when a griffin through the wilderness
Not really,
with
but
winged step o'er hill and moory dale pursues the Aramaz.
Heat, smoke, and savory roast floated from the house.
Delicious, I think.
Good evening to you. It's a fine night for the road.
Is that place an inn?
At your service. I'm the landlord, sir. And I hope you will stay the night, for, to tell you the truth, I've had no company for a week.
Oh boy. Place to stay. I pulled myself up on the parapet of the bridge and filled my pipe. I began to detect an ally.
You're young to be an innkeeper?
My father died a year ago and left me the business. I live there with my grandmother. It's a slow job for a young man, and it wasn't my choice, the profession.
Which was?
He actually blushed.
I want to write books.
Oh.
And what better chance could you ask? Man, I've often thought that an innkeeper would make the best storyteller in the world.
Oh, not now. Maybe in the old days when you had pilgrims and ballad makers and highwaymen and mail coaches on the road. But not now. Nothing comes here but motor cars full of fat women who stop for lunch and a fisherman or two in the spring and the shooting tenants in August. There's not much material to be got out of that. I want to see life, to travel the world and write things like Kipling and Conrad. But the most I've done yet is to get some verses printed in Chambers' journal.
I looked at the inn standing golden in the sunset against the brown
I've
hills.
knocked a bit about the world, and I wouldn't despise such a hermitage. Do you think that adventure is only found in the tropics or among gentry in red shirts? Maybe you're rubbing shoulders with it at this moment.
That's what Kipling says. Brother romance, and all unseen bromance brought up the 9:15.
Yes. But here's a true tale for you then. And a month from now, you can make a novel out of it.
A story of epic proportions. Mr. Richard Hanning was a successful mining magic. Something. He was successful. And his luck changed and he ran into serious financial troubles. The Guzzler's fucking here for the money. I owe you nothing. Thugs chased Hanny across the Kalahari to German Africa, pursuing him across the ocean. Kick the door in again.
Can't run this time.
You're on a
Oh, you left your hat again. Dude, stop dropping your hat.
He got away and fled to London.
How? He was on a boat. You had him. You're the worst killers.
But they tracked him down and killed him. My hat.
Oh, well.
And they had killed his friend. And they were chasing Annie out.
You're looking for adventure? Well, you found it here. The
just
devils are after
closed.
me and the police are after them. It's a race that I mean to win.
By God! It's all pure Rider Haggard and Conan Doyle!
You believe me?
Of course I do! I believe everything out of the common.
Okay.
The only thing to distrust is the normal.
Oh, you're irrational as fuck. He was very young, but he was the man for the money.
I think they're off my track for the moment, but I must lie close for a couple of days. Can you take me in?
This is a man who does his own research.
He caught my elbow in his eagerness and drew me towards the house. Yes. As I entered the inn porch, I heard from far off the beat of an engine.
Last time I went home, I brought roast. I think. Do you eat roast?
Not very often, no.
That's what I thought.
Roast is weird.
I know.
Maybe it's just because I've had like a bad experience growing up with it, but
Do you not like it because it's like stringy or because it's like dry?
because it's dry. He gave me room at the back of the house with a fine outlook over the plateau. I smoked in a chair till daylight, for I could not sleep.
Smoke pot all day. That's what he did.
The next morning, I wanted some time to myself, so I invented a job for him. He had a motor bicycle, and I sent him off next morning for the daily paper, which usually arrived with the post in the late afternoon. I told him to keep his eyes skinned and make note of any strange figures he saw, keeping a special sharp lookout for motors and aeroplanes.
Aeroplane.
Then I sat down in real earnest to Scooter's notebook. Innkeeper study. What is this?
They should make like a movie or whatever, or another video game, similar to this one. It's just so British with all these words,
Borders
and like the
post.
only thing they change is like instead of a pipe, he just has a bong.
Jesus. Okay. Fear not, if there's a killer in Scotland, we will track him down. We will be putting extra resources into the manhunt. So apparently they've... What do you call it?
Framed.
Yeah.
Framed you.
Well,
Framed him.
Yeah, but like...
Yeah.
They figured out where I went, is the thing. Like, they knew I'm in Scotland, which is not great.
That seems really fast.
Yeah. It's this cup. Okay, don't see anything. Just a lot of stuff. Chambers Journal. Mr. Fraser, thank you for sending us your latest poem, A Frozen Heart in Summer Days. We would be delighted to
I learned
publish
how
your
to
poem.
write and propose.
Any issue of next year. We will return the manuscript once it's been copied by recorded post. Thank you. Frozen Heart in Summer Days. I don't care. Okay. These are all like Roman numerals.
Yeah.
Those birds are going crazy. The something home. Show text. I was born in the land of Scotland when the heather was turning brown, and I don't care. It's another poem. Yeah, I don't care. Your poems kind of... it's not that they suck. I'm not huge into poetry. I have fun writing it, but I'm not hugely good at, into it.
I'm not into it at all.
Uh-oh. I glanced out of the window. There seemed to be two of them, men in aqua scutums and tweed caps. One was slim, the other was sleek. That was the most I could make of my reconnaissance. Uh-oh. 10 minutes later, the innkeeper slipped into the room, his eyes bright with excitement.
There's two chaps below looking for you. They're in the dining room having whiskies and sodas. They asked about you and said they'd hoped to meet you here. Oh, and they described you jolly well, down to your boots and shirt. I told them you'd been here last night and gone off on a motorbicycle this morning. And one of the chaps swore like a navvy.
Like a what? I assume Navy?
A navvy. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it means a sailor, but...
That's what I thought.
I made him tell me what they looked like. One was a dark-eyed thin fellow with bushy eyebrows. The other was always smiling and lisped in his talk. Neither was any kind of foreigner. On this, my young friend was positive. I took a bit of paper and wrote words in German as if they were part of a letter.
Take this down and say it was found in my bedroom and ask them to return it to me if they overtake me.
Okay.
Okay. He knows German. Blackstone, Scooter had got on to this, but he could not act for a fortnight. I doubt if I can do any good now, especially as Karolides is uncertain about his plans, but if Mr. P advises, I will do my best.
Your paper woke them up. The dark fellow went as white as death and cursed like blazes. And the fat one whistled and looked ugly. They paid for their drinks with half a sovereign and wouldn't wait for change.
Now, I'll tell you what I want you to do. Get on your bicycle and go off to Newton Stewart to the chief constable. Describe the two men and say you suspect them of having had something to do with the London murder. You can invent reasons. The two will come back, never fear. Not tonight, for they'll follow me 40 miles along the road, but first thing tomorrow morning. Tell the police to be here bright and early.
He set off like a docile child while I worked at Scooter's notes.
Ha!
I had a sudden inspiration. Scooter had said Julia was the key to the Karolides business, and it occurred to me to try it on the cipher. It worked. The 5 letters of Julia gave me the position of the vowels. The last name gave me the numerals for the principal consonants. I scribbled that scheme on a bit of paper. In half an hour, I was reading with a whitish face and fingers that drummed on the table. Sudden inspiration. I've done it. I solved the code. That evening, we dined together. For, out of common decency, I had to let him pump me up for information. I gave him a lot of stuff about lion hunts and the Matabele War, thinking all the while that tame businesses these were compared to this I was now engaged in. When he went to bed, again I sat up. I had finished Scooter's book. A Pack of Lies. Tuesday, 26th May, 1914. The Inn, Scotland. The next morning, I witnessed from my room the arrival of 2 constables and a sergeant.
You're under arrest.
They put their car into a coach house under the innkeeper's instructions and entered the house. 20 minutes later, I saw from my window a second car come across the plateau from the opposite direction. It did not come up to the inn, but stopped 200 yards off in the shelter of a patch of woods. I noticed that its occupants carefully reversed it before leaving it. My plan had been to lie hid in my bedroom and see what happened. I had a notion of that. If I could bring the police and my other more dangerous pursuers together, something might work out of it to my advantage. But now I had a better idea.
Open the window and jump out. Oh no, I was joking.
Oh, let me steal the car.
Oh.
Gently out to the plateau. The wind seemed to bring me the sound of angry voices.
Okay, but
You
where are
may
you gonna
picture me
go?
driving that 40 HP car for all she was worth over the crisp moor roads on that shining May morning, glancing back at first over my shoulder and looking anxiously to the next turning, then driving with a vague eye just wide enough awake to keep on the highway, where I was thinking desperately of what I had found in Scudder's pocketbook. The 15th day of June was going to be a day of destiny, a bigger destiny than the killing of a Dago. It was so big that I didn't blame Scudder for keeping me out of the game and wanting to play a lone hand. That, I was pretty clear, was his intention. In spite of all the nonsense talked in Parliament, there was a real working alliance between France and Britain, and the 2 general staffs met every now and then and made plans for joint action in case of war. Well, in June, a very great swell was coming over from Paris, and he was going to get nothing less than a statement of the disposition of the British Home Fleet on mobilization. It was something uncommonly important. In spite of all the nonsense talked in Parliament, there was a real working alliance between France and Britain, and the 2 general staffs met every now and then and made plans for joint action in case of war. Well, in June, a very great swell was coming over from Paris, and he was going to get nothing less than a statement of the disposition of the British Home Fleet on mobilization. It was something uncommonly important.
I understand now each set of papers is its own thing.
The bare bones of the tale were all that was in the book. These, and one queer phrase which occurred half a dozen times inside brackets. 39 steps was the phrase. And at its last time of use it ran 39 steps. I counted them. High tide, 10:17 p.m. I could make nothing of that. It was no question of preventing a war. That was coming, as sure as Christmas. Had been arranged, said Scudder, ever since February 1912. Carolides was going to be the occasion. This war was going to come as a mighty surprise to Britain. Carolides' death would set the Balkans by the ears, and then Vienna would chip in with an ultimatum. Russia wouldn't like that, and there would be high words, but Berlin would play the peacemaker and pour oil on the waters, till suddenly she would find a good cause for a quarrel, pick it up, and in 5 hours let fly at us. That was the idea, and a pretty good one too.
The whole story was in the notes, with gaps, you understand, which he would have filled up from his memory. He stuck down his authorities too, and had an odd trick of giving them all a numerical value and then striking a balance, which stood for the reliability of each stage in the yarn.
Nothing but the truth. On the bare moor, I was at the aeroplane's mercy. My only chance was to get to the leafy cover of the valley. Then I came to a thick wood where I slackened my speed. Suddenly, I heard the hooting of another car and realized upon my horror that I was almost upon a couple of gateposts through which a private road brought on the highway. I clapped on my brakes, but my impetuous was too great. I did the only thing possible and slammed into the hedge on the right.
Rammed it off a cliff, and then I died. The end.
A branch of hawthorn had got me in the chest, lifted me up, and held me while a ton or two of expensive metals slipped below. Slowly, that thorn let me go. As I scrambled to my feet, a hand took me by the arm. I found myself looking at a tall young man.
No more car.
I say, bless me, I'm dreadfully sorry. Are you hurt? Really, I must apologize. Oh, bless my soul. Do tell me you're all right.
My blame, sir. It's lucky that I did not add homicide to my follies. Well, that's the end of my Scotch motor tour. Or it might have been the end of my life.
He plucked out a watch and studied.
You're the right sort of fellow. I can spare a quarter of an hour, and my house is 2 minutes off. I'll see you clothed and fed and snug in bed. Where's your kit, by the way? Is it in the burn along with the car?
It's in my pocket.
A toothbrush?
I'm a colonial and travel light.
A colonial? By gad, you're the very man I've been praying for. Are you by any blessed chance a free trader?
A free trader? I am.
Oh, good show!
And now he probably knows who you are.
Yep. He patted my shoulder and hurried me into his car.
What if it wasn't an accident? He meant to run you off the road.
Presently, we drew up before a comfortable-looking shooting box, and he ushered me indoors. First, he flung half a dozen of his suits before me, for my own had been pretty well reduced to rags. I selected a loose blue serge, which differed most conspicuously from my former garments, and borrowed a linen collar. Then he hailed me to the dining room, where they fucked. I'm kidding.
Thank you.
You find me in a deuce of a mess, Mr. By the by, you haven't told me your name.
Twiston.
Twisden? Any relation to old Tommy Twisden of the
Definitely
60th?
not made up at all.
No, well, you see, I'm the Liberal candidate for this part of the world, and I had a meeting on tonight in Brattleburn, and that's my chief town, in an infernal Tory stronghold. I'd got the colonial ex-premier fellow, Crumpleton, coming to speak for me tonight, and had the thing tremendously billed, and the whole place ground-baited. This afternoon, I had a wire from the ruffian saying he'd got influenza at Blackpool, and here I am, left to do the whole thing myself. I had meant to speak for 10 minutes, and now must go on for 40. And though I've been racking my brains for 3 hours to think of something, I simply cannot last the course. Now, you've got to be a good chap and help me. You're a free trader and can tell our people what a washout protection is in the colonies. All you fellows have the gift of the gab. I wish to heaven I had it.
Just
I'll
like
be forever
hippos.
more in your debt.
I had very few notions about free trade, but I saw no other chance of getting what I wanted.
All right. I'm not much good as a speaker, but I'll tell them a bit about Australia.
Oh.
At my words, the cares of the ages slipped from his shoulders. Elected Sir Harry. He lent me a big driving coat and never troubled to ask why I had started on a motor tour without possessing a holster. I don't know what that is. As we slipped down the dusty roads, the young man poured into my ears the simple facts of his history. Sir Harry. Interests. He knew about horses and jawed away about the Derby entries, and he was full of plans for improving his shooting. Childhood. Sir Harry was orphaned at an early age and was brought up by his uncle, who was a member of the British cabinet. The young man today. He had gone round the world after leaving Cambridge, and then being short of a job, his uncle had advised politics, but he had no preference in parties. He was liberal because his family had always been Whigs. His uncle pulled a few strings and posted Harry in Tweeddale as a liberal candidate, without any hope of him winning over its conservative constituents.
I don't know shit about English,
Politics, especially this time
politics.
period.
Yeah.
Altogether, a very
Not now, not then.
Yep.
Sorry.
You're fine. New event. The radical candidate. Probably do maybe one more of that, and then maybe this will have to be a two-parter, I guess. Because, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, there are 39 steps.
The 39... What? There's only 17, though.
Yeah, but what's 17 times 2?
I have no idea. Is it
I don't
39?
know. I doubt it's 39. I don't actually know. It's probably more like 34. I don't know. So we're missing 5. Well, if not, whatever 39 minus 17 is. 22? I don't know. Anyway. Looks like we're about halfway through. We haven't even gotten to what the 39 steps are.
We only had a hint of them.
Have we?
Yeah, it was in the book.
Oh, that's why I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't read.
It's like a mysterious thing in the book that you figure out.
I'm so, like, old and grumpy that I'm just like, ugh, words in a book. I'm not reading. I don't have to. I worked all day. No.
Enter.
It's not even because, like, it's not interesting or anything. It's just, like, hard to focus.
Uh-oh, I see Freemason stuff going on in the background. The hall
Oh no,
had
this is where it gets into this territory.
Uh-oh. The hall had about 500 in it. Women mostly, a lot of bald heads and a dozen or two young men. The chairman was a Weasley minister with a reddish nose. He lamented on Crumpleton's absence. I know what that word is, I can't say it.
Soliloquize.
On his influenza and gave me a certificate as a trusted leader of Australian thought. There were 2 policemen at the door, and I hope they took note of that testimony.
I know it's based off of soliloquy, but the words are difficult.
Then Sir Harry started. Sir Harry's speech. Oh boy. His notes. He had about a bushel of notes from which he read, and when he let go of them, he fell into one prolonged stutter. Every now and then he remembered a phrase that he had learned by heart, straightened his back, and gave it off like Henry Irving. The next moment he was
Mary. Time?
What?
I don't know what it says next to Mary.
Oh, May 26th of May. Time? Question mark.
Oh, okay.
The next moment, he was bent double, crooning over his papers. The German menace. He talked about the German menace and said it was all a Tory invention to cheat the poor of their rights and keep back the great flood of social reform, but that organized labor realized this and laughed the Tories to scorn.
It looks like it says Tory wedding. I'm far away from the computer screen, and I'm not about to like lean up to read this.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm on the floor pillow.
He was all for reducing our navy as a proof of our good faith, and then sending Germany an ultimatum, telling her to do the same, or we would knock her into a cocked hat. Peace and reform. He said that, but for the Tories, Germany and Britain would be fellow workers in peace and reform. I thought of a little black book in my pocket. A giddy lot of Scooter's friends cared for peace and reform.
Without Tories, Germany? Something... I don't remember the rest.
In a queer way, I liked the speech. You could see the niceness of the chap shining out behind the muck with which he had been spoon-fed. I mightn't be much of an orator, but I was 1,000% better than Sir Harry. I simply told them all I could remember about Australia, all about its Labour Party, and immigration, and universal service, praying there should be no Australian here. I doubt if I remembered to mention free trade, and I said that there were no Tories in Australia, only Labour and Liberals. And I started to tell them the kind of glorious business I thought could be made out of the empire if you really put our backs into it. Altogether, I fancy I was rather a success. The minister didn't like me.
What else is new?
I'd like to propose a vote of thanks to Sir Harry for his statesman-like speech, and to Mr. Twisden, whose words had the eloquence of an emigration agent.
Rude. Thanks, Crumplebottom, or whatever your name is.
A lipping speech, Twisden. Now, you're coming home with me. I'm all alone, and if you'll stop a day or two, I'll show you some very decent fishing.
I'm all alone. Now, if you'll come with me, I'll show you something. Probably his dick. I don't know.
Gay or European, very difficult to tell.
Yep.
Back at Sir Harry's, we had a hot supper and then drank grog. The time had come for me to put my cards on the table. I saw by this man's eye that he was the kind you can trust.
Listen, Sir Harry. I've something pretty important to say to you. You're a good fellow, and I'm going to be frank. Where on earth did you get that poisonous rubbish you talked tonight?
Oh, was it as bad as that? It did sound rather thin. I got most of it out of the Progressive magazine, and pamphlets that agent chap of mine keeps sending me. But you surely don't think Germany would ever go to war with us?
Ask that question in 6
No,
weeks, and it won't need an answer. If you'll give me your attention for half an hour, I'm going to tell you a story.
And
I blinked, no detail. You sure do like to tell people a lot about this crime.
yeah.
So you see, you've got here in your house the man that is wanted for the Portland Place murder. Your duty is to send your car for the police and give me up. I don't think I'll get very far. There'll be an accident, and I'll have a knife in my ribs an hour or so after arrest. Nevertheless, it's your duty as a law-abiding citizen. Perhaps in a month's time you'll be sorry, but you have no cause to think of that.
He was looking at me with bright, steady eyes.
What was your job in Rhodesia, Mr. Hannay?
Mining engineer. I've made my pile cleanly.
You're gonna
I've
get
had a good time
stabbed,
in the
and then
making
we're
of
gonna
it.
go play as
Not the
this guy?
profession that weakens the nerves, is it?
As to that, my nerves are good enough.
A knife. I took the honey knife and did the old Mashona trick of tossing it in the air and catching it in my lips.
Oh, that seems dangerous and unnecessary. Then you set it on fire?
I don't want proof. I may be an ass on the platform, but I can size up a man. You're no murderer, and you're no fool. I believe you're speaking the truth. I'm going to back you up. Now, what can I do?
First, I want you to write a letter to your uncle. I've got to get in touch with the government people sometime before the 15th of June.
He pulled his mustache.
That won't help you. This is Foreign Office business, and my uncle would have nothing to do with it. Besides, you'd never convince him. No. I'll go one better. I'll write to the Permanent Secretary at the Foreign Office. He's my godfather and one of the best going. Now, what do you want?
$3 million.
He sat down at a table and wrote to my dictation.
No.
I hope this letter finds you well, and I must apologize for not being in touch for such a long time. I'm finding all my time taken up with this political business, even to the detriment of my fishing. Anyway, on to more important matters. Without sounding overly enigmatic, I'm writing to say that if a man called Twiston happens to make your acquaintance before the 15th of June this year, it would be to your benefit to treat him kindly, despite what he may look like.
Maybe you should use your real name, dude. Like, since you already told him, like,
that's the proper
about
style.
the murder and stuff.
Oh, by the way, you'll find my godfather, his name's Sir Walter Bullivant, down at his country cottage for Whitsuntide. It's close to Artonswell on the Kennet. And that's done. Now, what's the next thing?
You're about my height. Lend me the oldest tweed suit you've got. Anything will do, so long as the color is the opposite of the clothes I destroyed this afternoon. Then, show me a map of the neighborhood and explain to me the lie of the land. Lastly, if the police come seeking me, just show them the car in the glen. If the other lot turn up, tell them I caught the South Express after your meeting.
He did, or promised to do, all these things. I shaved off the remnants of my mustache and got inside an ancient suit of what I believe is called heather mixture. The map gave me some notion of my whereabouts and told me the two things I wanted to know: where the main railway to the south could be joined, and what were the wildest districts at hand. He wakened me from my slumbers in the smoking room armchair and led me blinking into the dark, starry night. The tool shed.
Get a hammer.
An old bicycle was found in a tool shed and handed over to me. Collected a bicycle.
First, turn to the right, up by the long fir wood. By daybreak, you'll be well into the hills. Then, I should pitch the machine into a bog and take to the moors on foot. You can put in a week among the shepherds and be as safe as if you were in New Guinea.
Thank you.
Think nothing of it. You got me out of a tight spot last night. Now, you better get cracking. Good luck.
To the hills. I pedaled diligently up steep roads of hill gravel till the skies grew pale with morning. Run to the hills. I want to get to like right here because I think that's technically halfway.
Okay.
Run to the hills. Wednesday, 27th of May, 1914, Peebleshire, Scotland.
Peebleshire.
Peebles. I sat down and took stock of my position. Uh-oh. Rain. Aeroplane. I realized that my vantage ground might be in reality a trap. There was no cover for a torment in those bald green places.
Haunted.
Observations from a hill. A chance. There might be a chance on the moors to right or left. Found. My enemies had located me, and the next thing would be to cordon round me. I didn't know what force they could command, but I was certain it would be sufficient. Escape. The airplane had seen my bicycle, and would conclude that I would try to escape by road.
Are you sure?
I ditched the bike.
this bike and throw it in a fucking puddle.
Give it to the fucking souls that died.
Yeah.
When I climbed to
They
a
can
knoll,
use this at Stonehenge.
when I climbed to a knoll which gave me a view of the two valleys. At other times I would have liked the place, but now it seemed to suffocate me. The free moorlands were prison walls, and the keen hill air was the breath of the dungeon. I tossed a coin. Heads right, tails left. I like the bagpipes. My heads.
Don't have it loud enough to hear bagpipes. I'm okay with this. I think I can faintly hear it.
Then I found the roadman.
Roadman.
Good day to you.
He looked at me with a fishy eye.
Confound the day I ever left the herding. There I was my own master. Now I'm a slave to the government, tethered to the roadside with sair een in a back like a suckle.
Okay.
The job. The plight of the road mender was a difficult one. Breaking up stones and laying them across miles of Scottish tracks was a tough job indeed. The man. He was a wild figure about my size, but much bent, with a week's beard on his chin and a big pair of horn spectacles.
Oh, mercy on me, my head's bursting. I can't do it. The surveyor man just report me. I'm for my bed.
What is your trouble, may I ask?
His
Do you like a
trouble was
Tylenol?
The trouble is that I'm no sober. Last night my daughter Maren was wadded, and the dance still four on the byre. Me and some other
Just like the
chiels
man
sat
on the
down to the
train.
drinking, and here I am. Pity that I ever looked on the wine when it was red.
Sleep sounds like your best bet.
It's easy speaking.
This game
I
has a
got a
lot
postcard
of
yesterday
drinking.
saying that the new road surveyor would be round the day. He'll come and he'll no find me, or else he'll find me foo, and either way I'm a done
What is
man.
the shot?
I'll walk back to my bed and say I'm no wheel, but I doubt that'll no help me, for they ken my kind of no wheelness.
Why
I
is he
had-
staring into her soul?
Then I had an inspiration.
Where's your house?
I was directed by a wavering finger to the cottage by the stream.
Well, back to your bed and sleep in peace. I'll take on your job for a bit and see the surveyor.
He stared at me blankly. Then, as the notion dawned on his fuddled brain, his face broke into a vacant, drunkard smile.
Eh? Hey, you're the Billy. It'll be easy enough managed. I've finished that bingo stains, so you needn't chop any more for noon. Just take the barry and wheel enough metal for your own quarry down the road to make another bing the morn.
Yes,
My name's
I understand
Alexander
these words,
Turnbull,
definitely.
and I've been 7 years at the trade and 20 afore that herding in Leith and Water. My friends call me Eki, and Wales Specky, for I wear glasses in wake of the sight. Just you speak the surveyor fair and calm, sir, and he'll be well pleased. I'll be back, midday.
The
Okay.
roadman. I borrowed his spectacles and filthy old hat, stripped off coat, waist, and collar, and gave him them to carry home. I borrowed, too, the foul stump of a clay pipe as an extra property. He indicated my simple tasks, and without more ado set off at an amble bedwards.
There's a lot of drinking and stealing random people's clothes.
Then I set to work to dress for the part. I opened the collar of my shirt. It was a vulgar blue and white check, such as ploughmen wear, and revealed a neck as brown as any tinker's. I rubbed a good deal of dirt also into the sunburn of my cheeks. My boots did not satisfy me, but by dint of kicking among the stones, I reduced them to the granite-like surface which marks a roadman's footgear. I broke one of the bootlaces and retied it in a clumsy knot, and loosened the other so that my thick gray socks bulged up over the uppers. I bit and scraped my fingernails till the edges were all cracked and uneven. The men I was matched against would miss no detail. I rolled up my sleeves, and there was a forearm, which might have been a blacksmith's sunburnt and rough with old scars. A roadman's eyes would no doubt be a little inflamed, so I contrived to get some dust in both of mine. By dint of vigorous rubbing, produced a bleary effect.
Okay.
The sandwiches Sir Harry had given me had gone off with my coat, but the roadman's lunch tied up in a red handkerchief was at my disposal. I did up the bundle again, put the paper conspicuously beside it. On I went, trundling my loads of stone with heavy steps of the professional. Soon I grew warm, and the dust on my face changed into solid and abiding grit.
Are you Alexander Turnbull? I am the new County Road Surveyor. You live at Black Hopefoot and have charge of the section from Laidlaw Byres to the Riggs. Good. A fair bit of road, Turnbull, and not badly engineered. A little soft about a mile off and the edges want cleaning. See you look after that. Good morning. You'll know me the next time you see me.
Clearly my get-up was good enough for the dreaded surveyor.
Roadman. Man of the road.
The roadman.
We're just gonna spend like a whole week on this fucking road, aren't we?
Jeez. Peebleshire, Scotland. Just about midday, a big black car stole down the hill, glided past and drew up 100 yards beyond. Its 3 occupants descended as if to stretch their legs and sauntered towards me. 2 of the men I had seen before from the window of the Galloway Inn, one lean, sharp, and dark, the other comfortable and smiling. The third had the look of a countryman, a vet, perhaps, or a small farmer. He was dressed in ill-cut knickerbockers, and the eye of in his head was as bright and wary as a hen's.
Morning! That's a fine, easy job of yours.
Dick.
I slowly and painfully straightened my back after the roadman, spat vigorously after the manner of the low Scot, and regarded them steadily before replying.
There's worse jobs, and there's better. I would rather have yours, sitting all day on your hinderlands in 8 cushions. It's you and your muckle cars that wreck my roads. If we all had our richts, you should be made to mend what you break.
The bright-eyed man was looking at the newspaper lying beside Turnbull's bundle.
I see you get your papers in good time.
Aye, in good time. Seeing that paper come out last Saturday, I'm just 6 days late.
He picked it up, glanced at the superscription, and laid it down again.
You've a fine taste in boots. These were never made by a country shoemaker.
They were not. They were made in London. I got they through the gentleman that was here last year for the shooting. What was his name now?
I scratched a forgetful head.
Let us get on. This fellow is all right. Let us get on. This fellow is all right.
Did you see anyone pass early this morning? He might be on a bicycle or he might be on foot.
I nearly fell into the trap and told a story of a bicyclist riding hurriedly past in the grey dawn.
I wasn't up very early. You see, my daughter was married last night, and we kept it up late. I opened the house door about 7, and there was nobody on the road then. Since I come up here, there has just been the baker and the Rackhill herd, besides you gentlemen.
One of them gave me a cigar, which I smelt gingerly and stuck in Turnbull's bundle. They were out of sight in 3 minutes, and my heart leapt with an enormous relief. I went on wheeling my stones. It was as well, for 10 minutes later the car returned, one of the occupants waving a next step was what puzzled me. I had a notion that the cordon was still tight around the glen, and that if I walked in any direction I should meet with questioners. Get out I must. No man's nerve could stand more than a day of being spied on. Then suddenly...
Excuse me, may I trouble you for a light?
By an amazing chance, I knew him. His name was Marmaduke Jopley, and he was an offrance to creation. Unbelievable luck. First meeting. I had a business introduction to his firm when I came to London, and he was good enough to ask me to dinner at his club. There he showed off a great rate and patterned about his duchesses until the snobbery of the creature turned me sick. I asked a man afterward why nobody kicked him, and it was told that Englishmen reverenced the weaker sex. He was a sort of blood-struck stockbroker who did his business by toadying up eldest sons and rich young peers and foolish old ladies. He would crawl a mile on his belly to anything that had the title or a million. Anyhow, there he was now, nattily dressed in a fine car, obviously on his way to visit some of his smart friends, and he had no clue who I was. I'm gonna jump in the car.
Hello, Jopley. Well met, my lad.
Who the devil are you?
My name's Hanny, from Rhodesia, you remember?
Good God, the murderer!
Just so. And there'll be a second murder, my dear, if you don't do as I tell you. Give me that coat of yours, that cap too.
Fucking stealing his shit. He did his bid.
Again!
For he was blind with terror. Over my dirty trousers and vulgar shirt, I put on his smart driving coat, which buttoned high at the top and thereby hid the deficiencies of my collar. I stuck the cap on my head and addressed his gloves to my getup. The dusty roadman, in a minute, was transformed into one of the neatest motorists in Scotland. On Mr. Jopley's head, I clapped Turnbull's unspeakable hat and told him to keep it there.
Now, my child, sit quite still and be a good boy. I mean you no harm. I'm only borrowing your car for an hour or two. But if you play me any tricks, and above all, if you open your mouth, as sure as there's a God above me, I'll wring your neck. Savvy?
Just don't hurt me.
I enjoyed that evening's ride. As the dark fell, I turned up a side glen into an unfrequented corner of the hills. Soon the villages were left behind, then the farms, and then even the wayside cottage. Here we stopped, and I obligatorily reversed the car and restored to Mr. Jopley his belongings.
1,000 thanks. There's more use in you than I thought. Now be off and find the police.
I'll get you!
As I sat on the hillside, I reflected on the various kinds of crime I had now sampled. Contrary to general belief, I was not a murderer, but I had become an unholy liar, a shameless impostor, and a highwayman with a marked taste for expensive motor cars. And the game is up, and that's